everything will make sense someday. So for now, laugh at your mistakes, smile through the tears, and keep reminding yourself that everything really does happen for a reason.
Wow.
Hello, everyone. You're all once again welcome to Talk Life with Nancy. And hey, today we've been honored with a nice gentleman over here where we're going to discuss ourselves. I'm going to stop talking and allow him to introduce himself. Hello.
Hello. I'm happy to be here.
We are happy that you're here too.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
The schedule is supposed to be on, I think, a few weeks or maybe a month ago.
Some months ago. Really long time.
Yeah, a month ago. So it's been a long. So I'm honored to be here today to, be on the podcast Talk Life with Nancy. My name is Michael. My full name is Michael Kojo Okutu, but I'm popularly known as Kojo. That's what my friends call me. Others call me Mike. Okay. Some others call me Coolio. Others call me Roy.
Hey, that's a lot of nicknames.
Yeah, I'm a very sociable person, so it depends on how people want to brand me, so it's easy for them to get contact with me.
Okay. So today on Talk Life with Nancy, we're going to call you Kojo. Because fine. I'm Adra, so
you're nice.
Going to vibe with that.
Nice. That's fine.
So Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself, where do you come from and all that.
Oh, okay. So as I said earlier, I'm Michael. I come from Ghana.
Oh, okay.
I'm 35 years old and currently I'm living in China.
Okay.
I've been in China for, I came in 2015, so that should be 6 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't come to study. I came to search for money. So all along, that's what I've been doing. Try to find a more legal way to make money, and God has been good.
Thank God for that.
Amen.
And how has that been so far?
So far it's good. I can't say it's bad, despite the challenges that we go through. I believe that irrespective of the country you find yourself, you still face all these challenges. The question is, are you willing to accept and then work on these challenges and try to find the main reason or the purpose for which you decided to leave your country and go to another person's country.
Yeah.
And I think that is my motivation. So I've never been let down. I keep working, and whatever happened, I still believe that for whatever target I set for myself, I've been able to achieve.
Wow, that's very deep. Mike is telling us that so far as you know what you're up to, the circumstances you find yourself in, just keep pushing, okay? It's gonna be fine.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mike, for that.
You're welcome every time.
So today, I don't know whether the topic is a bit sad or a bit happy, but we're going to talk about being alone and being lonely.
Wow.
Yes.
It's not sad, it's not happy. We'll try to find a balance.
It's kind of in between.
In between, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So some of us, we don't even understand those words, alone and lonely. We use them interchangeably.
Exactly.
So can you please tell us, according to your understanding, the difference between being alone and being lonely?
Oh, okay, sure. So I think the two words have a relationship.
Okay.
Being alone and loneliness. For the first one is being alone. I believe, in my opinion, it has to do with a physical condition or a state where you want to be yourself. You don't want to be in the company or in the midst of anybody. So it could be that you are in a group of people or a company of people, but you take yourself outside that company or that group for reasons best known to yourself.
Okay.
So we can consider you being alone at that point.
Okay.
And that is when the loneliness sets in. So first we have being alone, and then we have loneliness. Because once you leave the group, you become lonely. So I consider loneliness to be more of a feeling.
Okay.
So being alone is a state, but loneliness is a feeling where it's not you being by yourself, but it also comes with a sense of sadness or abandonment. So let me go briefly into the two.
Okay.
So you are not alone. It could be that you were previously in a group of people that you admire, or that you like, that you work with. One thing we have to know is that anytime we find ourselves in a certain group, with time, we get some kind of attachment. It could be an emotional attachment or physical attachment or whatever it is. Now, once you leave that group, There are reasons why you would do that. So that is why we have two things. First, we have abandonment, and the other one we have sadness. So you could be sad, and that is why you are lonely, because you left a group of people. The reasons might not be you, might be the group or somebody in the group, and the other one could be abandonment. Now, abandonment can be handled in different ways. We could have the situations where people temporarily lived together for a while, and then a time came where they need to separate. So people leave you, and then you become the only one who is left alone. So people consider it as an abandonment, you being abandoned. If we go more deeply into abandonment, then we are looking at where someone intentionally decides to let you go out of a group, where you feel like you are not needed, and so you left the group. And so that is where loneliness also comes in. So briefly, or in summary, I say alone is when you take yourself out of a group of people, and then loneliness is when you have the feeling of sadness or abandonment because you are not sharing your space with other people or with others.
Wow. Thank you. For being alone and lonely, personally, as a young girl living outside Ghana, like living on my own in China here, sometimes I'm alone because I'm not with my family. I'm living alone. That's how I understand it. And I'm lonely because sometimes it's like you've got no one here to tell the person your needs. It's like you don't have a companion, someone you could feel free and talk to when you are in trouble, when you are happy. So that makes me feel lonely sometimes too.
And that goes beyond the physical space that you share with people. So, for example, when you say you don't have anybody who you can tell your things to, now you can take a situation where people still feel lonely even when they are with others.
Wow.
So you can see that it comes in two ways. Now, somebody is living with someone or has a friend, but still feels lonely because that friend do not give him or her the attention that the person needed or that the person needs. It could also be because the person doesn't have that kind of feelings towards the other person. So his or her feelings is attached to somebody else who is not around him or her. So I could be with you and still feel lonely. I could be with you and feel be alone. Because even though I'm with you, I feel like I feel like you paying attention to me and trying to help me out with my feelings would make me more comfortable and more relaxed, and then I'll have the feeling of being with someone. You understand? But once your ideas and your focus are nothing close to what mine is or what mine are, then it means that if I come to you, whatever I want you to help me with, you don't have the time and the energy to do that. In that situation, I will still feel lonely. Why? Because you wish somebody else could be there for you, not the one that is right beside you.
So in simple terms, Kojo, you are telling us that when your vibes don't meet with the person you are with,
you can still be lonely.
Wow.
You can still be lonely.
This is a tip for us. When you are going for a friendship or for any kind of relationship, just get someone you could vibe with.
Yeah, exactly. I saw a picture on the social media where they are a couple, right? So the woman is watching the movie and the man is on his phone on the bed. Between them is a very huge space.
Wow.
And then there is a kind of a thought from the woman saying he is talking to someone else because the man is on the phone.
Yeah.
And then the man also has the thought that I don't even like movies.
Whoa.
So the woman thinks the man is shunning her because he's going to talk to somebody else. And the man doesn't like movies. He feels like what he's doing on the phone. So on the phone he's playing game.
Yeah.
So in that situation, if it extends for a very long time, this might be a couple, but this couple do not have the vibe, as you said. Somehow, one thing is when you feel lonely, you realize that the one that you're attached to is not with you now. When the person is around, you shouldn't feel lonely.
Not at all.
So if you still have someone that you think you have an emotional attachment with and you still feel lonely, then you know that there's a problem.
Yeah. That one you have to seek for another.
Yes, you have to seek for another way of making yourself happy.
Wow, that was a vivid differentiation between being alone and lonely.
Yeah.
So, Kojo, we would like to know, have you ever been lonely? Have you ever felt like you were alone?
Yes, of course. I feel like everyone, go through this feeling or this state or whatever condition with being alone or being lonely. But I believe in the degree or the extent at which you feel lonely, because it's not something that is too light if it goes on for a very long time. Fortunately for me, as I said earlier, I'm a very sociable person, so it doesn't take long for me to find out or figure out how to overcome some of these things. But personal experiences, yes. The first one is alone. Now, I think in the year 2018, from 2018, 2019, and then 2018 and 2019 is a moment where I decided to, be alone. So one reason is I felt the feeling of being alone, but then I also understand why I should be alone at that time, because it was my decision to be alone.
Okay.
So at that time, some of my friends that I used to talk to, that I used to contact with, I was not in touch with them, and I didn't look for them because I felt like it was the right opportunity for me to chase something.
Okay.
So this is another way where someone is alone, but it's not for the negative reasons.
Yeah.
It's for the right reasons. You understand?
I understand.
So in my case, I experienced both, but more with me being alone. Just like, I want to be alone. Like somebody would say it casually.
Yeah.
Like, leave me alone. I want to be alone for some time. And left alone. Very good. That person knows exactly what he or she is doing.
Yeah.
You understand? So I had that situation where I wanted to be left alone, and I was alone, and I think it helped me. And I went back to be with company when I felt like it was the right time
for you.
For me. So what was I doing at that time? I felt like I belonged to a group of people who were kind of taking advantage of me. They come to my house.
Classic humans.
Yeah. They come to my house, I cook, we eat, then we go out, we spend a lot of money, and we literally do not do anything productive with the time that we had. And because they know that I'm always available to, create the space for them to come and do whatever they want to do, And I felt like at a point in time, it wasn't the right thing to do. So I just decided to, change the place I was staying, I was living at that time, and I moved to a new place. And then anytime that we had to meet and do something, which we were doing more frequently in the past, I gave an excuse of having to work or having to do something. So with time, they stopped calling me, they stopped coming around, and so I had to be alone so that I could be able to deal with that. And then with the issue of loneliness, I think my first time of coming to China, that was when I experienced it more, because I was back at home in Ghana. I was not the kind of person that would be alone most of the time. It's either I'm with my family or I'm with my friends, which almost every single day. I've never been alone like that unless I'm going to sleep at night. So when I came, even when I was on the plane, and I was coming, I had a very sad situation. I was asking myself, do I really have to travel to go to another place? And I started thinking about, I literally don't know anybody here.
Yes.
So if I come, how is it going to be? And I experienced this in the few days that I arrived, that I wasn't working, I wasn't doing anything. I would just wake up and be, because I was figuring out how to, fix my visa, and then from there how to get to work and then get things, going on right away.
And not being able to speak Chinese.
You're not able to speak Chinese. And the loneliness comes in more when they even call you. When they call you from home, that is when you feel like they are not with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I experienced, those things. But all in all, I think it's a stage that we all go through. But we just try to make sure that we try to overcome it as early as possible to avoid other things.
Yeah. When Kojo was talking about being alone, he was like, he wanted to be alone. He felt like the company he was keeping was not being productive at the end of the day, so he needed to cut them short. And at the end, it really helped him. So, dear listener, if you know you are keeping a certain kind of company which is not really helping you, being alone here is very necessary. Just try to be alone for some time and figure yourself out.
Exactly. And I'll share a short tip over there.
Okay.
Is that when you are in a group of people, you have to know your position in a group.
Okay.
It's not about your position as a group of people who have leaders. It's about you knowing where you come from. You understand? So with mine, I literally come from a family that is very humble beginning. We are not rich. we are not poor. My mom is just a civil servant who raised us all by herself. So we saw how she struggled to raise us.
Yeah.
So all of us, me, my brothers, and my sister, we knew that in life we have no. Usually, I refer to it that I always tell my siblings that we are birds with broken wings. It means that we cannot fly unless somebody push us or somebody try to help us. Yeah, because we lost our mom and we lost our dad. We lost our dad earlier, and then we lost our mom a couple of years ago. Even I was away at that time, so we were then for ourselves. You understand? So with the kind of group that I was in, I needed that kind of position to know that if the group falls, which of the members of the group can stand tall with the support they have from home or other friends that they have or whatever. And then myself, if I fall, will I get support as well? So I realized that this group of people that I was in, some of them were well-to-do. They come from homes with, very modern homes. They have everything at their disposal.
Yeah.
They're actually in school, so after graduation they go back home and live their life. So I felt like, no, there is something I must achieve in life to be able to be with those guys for a very long time and have the energy to say that if we all go down, I can still stand tall by myself.
Okay.
But I was nowhere even 30% near that. So I really needed to have that break quickly to fix my own issues.
Yeah.
Be alone at that time, fix my own issues, and if I feel like I'm at that level, then I'm okay, I can go. So when you are in a group of people, you must know your position in the group. Are you the kind of person who, if the group is falling, somebody else can lift you up or you can lift yourself up? If you are not, I'm sorry.
You better find a better company.
Better find a company, a different company as well.
Yeah,
a different company. So that is just one tip. That is what drives me, and I'm sharing with everyone who is listening to us. If you feel it's the right thing to do, you can go ahead.
For me, I feel it's a very good thing to do. Hand go, hand come, but sometimes the hand can go too long, then the hand doesn't come.
If you're not careful, somebody will cut their hand.
Your hand.
You might not even get your own hand back.
Yeah. So moving on to the next issue, we want us to tell us a little bit, maybe you or someone you know who has been in a bad situation because the person was alone, because the person felt lonely. And then tell us some of them.
Not me specifically, but I have a friend that went through a similar situation. Initially, he felt like there was bad energy among him and his friends. So there were a lot of issues with people. He said there was hatred, there was jealousy. People were saying things, and one thing is trust. So what breaks the whole thing is when you hear that somebody who you eat with or who is always around you tell something to somebody else that he could have told you directly to avoid that information getting to the third person, then it's very hurting. So that was how he felt at that time, and he realized that no, if these guys cannot approach me to talk to me directly as friends, but a third person must come in, then I can imagine how many people has heard of such situation. So he decided to take himself out. But at that time, when he was taking himself out, he needed to really figure out what to do. You understand? What to do. Because if you take yourself out and later you want to go back, it should be for the right reasons. When you leave a group, you are not breaking up your friendship. You understand? You are putting yourself in a position where people understand that you are not available.
Okay.
But once you become available, they are willing to accept you. But when you put yourself in a position where you break up from the group knows that you are uncomfortable, then there's a problem when you want to come back.
Yeah. It is.
So that is what he didn't handle very well when he was leaving his friends, and then he decided to be alone. So it led to loneliness because now he felt like he doesn't have many people to, talk to when he needs help or something, and it could be disastrous. You could go through frustration, you can go through stress, and psychologists or the medical personnel can tell us more about what loneliness can cause. A lot of things. So that my friend, he went through quite some situation. At that time, I was not around to help him because he was living in a different city. He wasn't here with me in Beijing. So it even came to a state where he wanted to go to Ghana because he felt like bro, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like all the guys that are here, I don't trust any of them, and it brings hatred. Because now you want to go back to the guys, but they are not willing to accept you. So you think they hate you, and then so it lets you, And one other thing is you make mistakes. If you are not able to, if you want to be alone and you don't do it the right way, you might make mistakes. Going forward, you might make mistakes. Because then you are going to put your trust in people that you are not supposed to trust. Because you feel like, oh, they might come around for you once or twice, but they are not your friends.
Not at all.
So that was one mistake that he made, and he lost a lot of money financially because he put his trust in other people. Because at that time he needed somebody to be around with him, and then he, trusted people to help him out of situations. He paid money to them, and finally it turned out to be the other way. To the extent that he had to jump from the window.
Oh my goodness.
Of his building, and then he fell and broke his arm. And he was running on the street, and he called me that this guy that he calls friends that he was hanging around with in just like a week, he gave him money to do something, and the guy spent the money. And when he decided to ask for the money, the guy called the police.
Wow.
This guy invaded into his apartment, and he was also scared because he came to China for less than a year. Yeah, and then he jumped, and then he called me. I was in Beijing, he was in Shenzhen at that time.
Wow.
There was nothing I could do. So there are several risks that comes with, some of these things. When you have physical or emotional attachment to other people, when you break out with them, you shouldn't be too quick to find a new group. When you feel like you have discovered yourself or you found yourself, and then you know what you want to do, you don't have to rush into finding a new group of people. If you have that anxiety, you might face some disappointment. So that is something that happened, and he's just one of the many. But I felt his situation was a little bit more serious because of the situations that he went through. He felt, and then he was, he went into the wrong group, and he had to suffer for it.
Yes.
So the reason is everybody in his or her life would like to be alone at a point in time. But when you are living, the purpose for living must be very clear. So not creating a situation where you want to go back to the group, but then they cannot accept you because they feel like you denied them your friendship.
I don't know, sometimes the people you are just leaving out of the group to do not really tend to be understanding.
Exactly.
Because it is normal if we all know the fact that someone wants to be alone for some time, and the person decides to be alone, and the person is ready to hang out more. When you come back, even when the person left on a right note, the person will come back and still come and meet this. You are back again. Blah, blah,
that
blah.
is when you should know that group was not even meant for you.
Wow. Serious.
That's when you should know that. I left a group of friends before, not all of them though. That's a guy among them was saying, I'm too known. Like we call it back home in Ghana. So you are too known person. I'm too known. Other people say, who do I think I am? And they said so many things. But still, there were people in the group that defended me. They're like, you want to come to me, you want me to, come around, but I don't have the time to do that. I'm not too known. I don't have time. You should be able to understand when people have time to do something, when they don't have time to do something. But I feel like as humans, we must have our principles as well. I'm a very principled person.
We can see that.
So anyone who is with me or anyone who lives with me know the things I can accept and the things I cannot accept. I always tell my friends. That's one of my friends, Jason Kwame, Lays Up TV YouTube channel. I always tell him that wherever he finds himself, he must clearly let the people know the things he can accept and the things he cannot accept. And if he cannot accept something, it's non-negotiable because he would not accept it. Because people try to do so many things to you, and they feel like there are some of them that are negotiables, but some are not.
Not at all.
Some are not. My time is not negotiable because it's my time. So what I can do is try to help you because of a situation. You be my friend or something. That is help. It's not that you can use it anyhow you want. That is why with me, I always tell people, like when I want to go out with you and you delay, like I got a taxi and I'm there, you're not there, I'll go back home. I've done it several times. My big brother, he knows me. If I'm, for example, let's take Ghana. if I'm coming from Kaswa and I live in Kaswa and you live in Malam, and we have to meet at Malam Junction, I expect to see you there, not me waiting for you in Malam because you live in Malam.
Wow.
So my time is not negotiable. If I get there, I will continue my journey to where we are supposed to go, and you have to come there.
Back.
And I will continue to do what exactly we're going to do because I will not wait for you. So most people who know me, they know that. The only reason is that we are humans. So sometimes you have to understand situations that people go through.
Yeah.
It's not like you are a very strict person, so you just be strict on everything. Things happen.
Yeah.
Accidents, situations happen where you need to understand humans the way they are. Yes, and that one is acceptable. You understand? So just briefly, some of these things about being in a group and all that, you have to let people know the kind of person you are. Yeah.
And being you is really a step of your own happiness.
Exactly, your maturity.
Yes, because you know what you want, you know what you are in for.
Exactly.
You know the things that make you happy, the things that make you sad.
Exactly.
So you can't be in a company of people and you don't even know yourself. With that one, you tend to be, if one of them says, okay, today let's go here. Even though you wouldn't like to go, but you don't know you.
Exactly.
You just follow suit and go and do things.
And you might even have something to do, something that is more valuable, but you just follow the crowd, as we say in Ghana.
Yes. Follow the crowd.
But I always ask, which would you be happy with? For you to know that you have successfully achieved something that you've longed for, or for you to go with everybody and have fun. How many minutes are you? The funny thing is that after everything said and done, you go back home alone.
Yes.
Even if your friends go with you, you are the only one who knows the things that you could have done that you haven't done.
Yes.
And I'm such a person who always thinks about what I could have done that I didn't do and wasted the time. I'm somebody like that. And then I set a standard that it won't happen again. I always do that. So when I go out, I always like Kwame Jason. He knows that we must have a productive day. So I'm very fulfilled when the day is productive. But when it's not productive, I don't feel happy because I know that I have wasted a lot of time that I could have used positively. So sometimes it's not about the goals or the aims of the group, especially when it's a social group. For financial group and other kinds of group, you have to play with the aims and the collective goals of the group. But when it's a social group, you have to know that after everything, every single person in the group has something to achieve. Have you achieved yours? That's the big question. Yeah. So yeah.
we tend just trying to procrastinate our own stuff, the things that we need to do, and then we just follow. I'm a victim.
A lot of things.
I'm a victim.
I can see from your face.
I'm really a victim, For me to do this, as I'm sitting here, I have a deadline to meet on the 30th of January to do something. But I was told like 2 weeks ago.
Wow. And you're still here. Let's end the podcast.
Just that sometimes I just feel like I have time, but time is precious. And for me to accept that fact, I know I will change.
If you ask some of the guys around me, my motto is time no day. Like they didn't say what time. I'm like time. When I say time no day, I don't mean the clock or the watch that you have. I mean whatever you are going to do, the set time for achieving it.
Yes.
That's when I say time no day. Anytime I say time no day, there is something I must do that I'm not doing. So that is hunting me. So I need to meet that kind of objective. So
we will change.
Amen.
Some of us we procrastinate so much.
Amen. Yeah.
Okay. So we've really had a very informative podcast today.
Yes.
Thanks to Kojo.
It's my pleasure.
You've talked a lot. Personally, I'm learning a lot from you here in Beijing.
I'm happy.
Seriously, I'm doing it. So for this topic, we will end here.
Okay.
But would you like to tell us a little bit, any last advice you'd give to us, listeners of Talk Life with Nancy? They want some tips.
Don't give them too much tips. They'll be pampered.
Is that true?
They'll be pampered. They just sit on the bed and listen to the podcast. And they're like, okay, we didn't pay for it. All right. So, a few things that, from my personal opinion or from my view, I think that it could be helpful is, the first one is, identify the right group of people.
Okay.
Identify the right group of people. And as I said earlier, the collective or the social group of this, the collective or the social aim of this group must go with you. It mustn't be you working in the group, but the benefit of the group has nothing to do with you. It must go with you. That is the first thing. The next thing on the same thing is it the kind of group that they can easily see you going on and off and they accept you for that? Or is the group that somebody or one or two people feel like if you are not there, it means you are doing something behind them, or you are doing something that they will not like?
Group with trust issues.
Yeah, with trust issues, they should be able to know when you are not available and when you are available, and they should trust you that when you have time, you'll be with them. That is one thing. So identify the right. Don't be in a group of people where the objective of the group doesn't align with yours. It doesn't align with it must align with yours. It should be all of you deciding together to go to a party.
Yeah.
With you willing 100% to go to the party. It mustn't be 4 people in the group who wants to go to the party and you must go. Whilst you have something to do that you haven't done. You should be able to stamp your authority that I can't go to the party, and they must understand that is the right group. But the other group who feels betrayed, that as for you there, everywhere you are going, you're not going. No, it's not like that. So identify the right group of people.
You should find your right kind of birds so that you can flock together.
Exactly. And we always say that, right? Birds of a feather
same,
or the same feather flock together. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. And when you leave a group and you are going to be among other people, please make sure that you take your time to know them very well. Humans are advantageous. They take advantage of people. Yeah. For me, I would say don't trust anyone. Don't trust your mom. Don't trust your boyfriend. Don't trust your wife. Don't trust anybody. Why? Because we have mood swings, and then we have character. You ask yourself why best friends becomes worst enemies in a minute. So where is the love? Where is the trust?
Wow.
Yeah. So just a quick situation. I was listening to a podcast as well, where the person was saying that he's a pastor, that he doesn't really want to spend too much time with couples because most of the couples, when they come, they talk about their problems, but they were in love before. So he said he will use your own problem to solve it for you. So when you come, he asks you, when you found him, what attracted you to him? When you found her, what was she doing that you liked? If you can state that, and if he can confirm that those were the things you were doing, then just go back home
and work on it.
And find those things and enjoy them again.
Wow.
So that is one other thing that I will say. Second one, I say channel the negative energy into something creative. So there are a lot of things that we can do. And with this, now in these modern times in which we are now, people are finding ways. Like for me, when I'm home, I'm looking for ways of making money. Because I feel like we have the space to make money now.
Yeah.
Just take the internet and see how much money you can make on the internet. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It doesn't mean own a channel.
Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. You can sell something. You can buy something from there. You can sell something from there. You can monetize something. You can get paid for doing something. You can do investments online. These cryptocurrencies, these Bitcoin stuff. You can do so many things.
Yeah.
When you have time or you feel like you are being lonely or you are alone, try to find ways by which you can. Everybody loves money.
Yeah.
Try to find ways by which you can make money, or try to find ways by which you can do something that can help someone. For most of the things that we do that are beneficial to us is by finding ways of solving problems of others. Those are the things people pay for. Because if I solve your problem for you, you pay me. So the one who makes the umbrella, he always makes it during the rainy season because we have to pay him. The one who makes a jacket for winter knows that he's preventing us from feeling cold and we have to pay. And there are a lot of things we can still solve. So let's try to find those things and then it will help us. We can learn something. For the last one, I would say there are extreme cases where people have like serious loneliness issues.
Yeah.
You must consult. You must talk to someone, a psychologist, a physician, your mom, your dad, somebody who you have a biological relationship with. You think that the person would be there for you. Need to talk to the person because sometimes it's not ordinary loneliness. Something is hunting you.
Yes.
Or something is bringing you down, and if you are not careful, it might be worse. So try to talk to someone when you find yourself in extreme cases.
Yes. To add to your last point, I feel like the problem even get worse when we feel like there is no one to talk to. But when you should find the right people to talk to, it's gonna be okay. You know, a problem
Yeah, that's
shared is
true.
half solved.
That's true.
If you don't talk about it, how would someone help you?
And you said the right person. That is also very, because somebody is there, but you bring the problem for it is the duplicating of your own problems.
Yeah, just not helping yourself.
Exactly.
So yeah, there are a lot of, you can, even if you don't find it comfortable to talk to someone you relate to biologically, you can just see this, you know, black people, we don't like seeing a therapist attention and all that.
No, we can do our own therapy.
But sometimes it helps though.
Yeah. That's true.
So let's all try to. Personally, I'm going to take that doing something with that loneliness, trying to create something with it,
Yes,
because I think that's where you can even develop your own passion.
exactly.
I mean, my passion is talking, so
Is you need to create something with your speech.
with a
And that's exactly what you're doing, because you're a student.
yes.
And then you are making a podcast as well. So yeah, that is one other thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that is Kojo for us, and he also has a YouTube channel. So you can go tell us about your YouTube, Kojo.
Kojo Films.
Kojo Films.
Kojo Films, yeah. It's not a big channel, it's still growing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a growing channel. If you go there are a little bit about lifestyle in China. There is something about I love architecture, so I have some architectural reviews, like apartments, hotels, and other spaces on my channel as well. And I'm coming up with I don't know, by the time you hear this podcast, if you check out, there might be episodes of people moving abroad to China, life with the person's experiences and everything. So I call it Moving Abroad to China. Yeah, the series will come on, people from different walks of life. We'll talk about living in China.
Wow, that is Kojo's channel for you. And today, wow, we've really talked a lot. So we're going to end here. But all that I've got to say is that this life that we are living in, you know, it can be very challenging to be alone, and other times it's very nice to be alone. So just identify the purpose of being alone and try to your loneliness, if it's getting an extreme, you seek help, and then you invest it into something very important.
Exactly.
Yes. So we are ending here, and then I would like to say thank you very much for listening to today's podcast. Subscribe to this channel, like and share to others so that you can help them advise themselves too. So, Kojo, let's go.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you some other time.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.